In this struggle, the assumption is the West is weak and flaccid. So this is a Western struggle against an Islamic world. That's how they like to paint it. Imagine what a different occupation it is if we have 15, 20,000 Russians, 15, 20,000 Chinese, 15, 20,000 Indians. You say, you never get the Chinese. Whose energy is going to double? Whose energy requirement is going to double the next 20 years? And where are they going to get it? Whose blood? Whose oil? But we're not making those deals because we're not thinking strategically. And so we are going to declare something that we can't access, frankly, in a real fashion. We're going to declare a political handoff on 30 June, fundamentally for presidential election reasons. And that's too bad. We have to understand that we're going to fight different people across these spaces. Until we create a force for these back half situations, we are not going to score any real victories in this global war on terrorism. What we really need, and what this reflects, is the lack of an A to Z system for dealing with politically bankrupt states. What do I mean by that? An A to Z system, meaning you take a country into A, they come out on Z. What's a good example? The International Monetary Fund has a system, A to Z, for dealing with an economically bankrupt state. It's basically a sovereign Chapter 11. You go in at A, you come out at Z. We argue about this rule set incessantly. But it's basically there. What we have for dealing with politically bankrupt states. Think about front half, think about back half. We have the UN Security Council as a grand jury. I indict you, I indict you. I can't do anything about it, but I indict you. We have a Leviathan called the US military, which says in effect, you want me to take them down? I'll take them down. And on the far end, we have an international criminal court to try these guys. What we are missing is an executive function to take that indictment and do something with it. I think that's going to be found in a G7, G8, G20 over time, not in the UN Security Council. What we are missing is the US-enabled sysadmin force, as I like to call it. The back half force that attracts coalition partners, because we make clear we're going to wage peace as effectively as we wage war. And what we're missing is what Sebastian Mallaby describes as an international reconstruction fund, an IRF, like an IMF, to deal with the rehabilitation and reconstruction of any regime you decapitate. I will argue, though, if the US military doesn't create this system can't come into being. Because until we create this, we won't get the coalition partners. When I give this brief abroad to foreign militaries, they tend to jump at the sysadmin concept as opposed to the Leviathan concept. Because they say, you know what? We can't even play with you in big war. We can't keep up. We can barely talk to you. But we can do the back half stuff. And a lot of GAP countries prefer to do this. Why? They get paid $1,100 per soldier per month by the UN. It's a moneymaker. But if we don't create this capability, this system cannot come into being. You'll say, you're asking too much of DOD. I say you created the internet and you changed the world. I'll say you created GPS and you changed the world. You created UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, and you have changed the world and are continuing to change the world. You create this force, you seed it, you prioritize it, you show me a 4-star military police officer, you'll change the world.